Welcome to the FemNation podcast, where we wholeheartedly believe women entrepreneurs are leaders that rise together. Success does not have a definition. There are no secret strategies. Women entrepreneurs are rewriting history by defining success on their own terms. Hi, I'm your host, White Gannon, the down-to-earth chick with a different name. Each week, join me for inspiring stories and powerful interviews of women entrepreneurs sharing their lessons to success to help you take your business to the next level. Now, let's go for it. Welcome back, FemNation. Today we have an amazing guest, Judy Weber, who is a Christian business coach and growth strategist for women of faith. I am so excited to have somebody so passionate and so strong on this podcast episode. So take a moment and thank Judy Weber for coming on in your thoughts and in your prayers. And I want to extend my thanks for coming on today, Judy.
Wow. Thank you, White Dove. I'm so excited to join your FemNation. Ladies.
Yes. Amazing women entrepreneurs we are, and women entrepreneurs listening to these episodes. So tell us, where did your entrepreneurial journey begin?
Well, as we just commented briefly, I said 2003, but I have to tell you, ever since I was a little girl, I always had this thing in me that I needed to do something big, that I was going to do something big. And, but I come from poor stock, like mommy and daddy, we were poor. Dad worked a couple of jobs, factory jobs. There were 6 of us. And so when mom stayed home, she was very smart, but had a tough upbringing. So she didn't go to college. That wasn't an option. And dad quit high school in 9th grade. So, we were very poor. And so I always had these big dreams, but I always thought, is that something a girl like me could do? But fast forward many, many moons later, in 2003, I had 3 boys at the time, ages 2, 4, and almost 7. And I had just left the private practice of law. I was blessed to work for a really big firm down in Philly, but I realized I didn't have these kids to have somebody else raise them. So I stepped away, but I'd say within a couple of weeks, I said to my mom, number one, how do you do this? This is harder than my full-time job. And secondly, I thought, you know what? I love my kids. I love being a mom, but I really felt like I had to do something more. And so that's when I launched my first business as an interior decorator. And I loved it. I was HGTV trained, no formal training, but yeah, I love design. So the thing about that though, I got so many clients. I did an expo locally, and I got more clients than I knew how to deal with because I've had so many clients. I didn't have the time to service them. So that was my entree, and I've done a lot of things since then. So I'll pause now and see what questions you have.
So in your entrepreneurial journey, how did you get to where you are today, and what inspired you to decide that you wanted to get to this point? And I'll let you say what this point is, where your business is at this point, but how did you determine in the entrepreneurial ebb and flow, because we as entrepreneurs know that it's creative and it evolves. So how did you go from really testing the waters, checking out what you wanted to do, making those life decisions, and then stepping out into, the entrepreneurial venture you had and not able to accommodate all the clients that you got from your interior design, and then to where you are now? How does that flow?
Yeah, well, it wasn't much of a flow. Can I just say that? It was a lot of ebbs and flows. So what I'm doing right now as a Christian business coach, working with Christian women who really feel called by God to serve and impact people with their special gifts and talents. This is exactly, I have no doubt, this is exactly my purpose in life. And so between 2003 and here, there's been a lot of ups and downs. I have launched quite a few businesses, many successful 6-figure and multi-6-figure businesses, but I learned a lot along the way. And so, and as I mentioned, I was a trial lawyer. So I've been a trial lawyer since 1995, and I remember dealing with discrimination in the courtroom and dealing with a whole personality set of arrogance and lack of fairness, lack of justice. And I really thought when I graduated law school, I was gonna change the world. I thought that's what I was gonna do. But within my first year of practicing law, I got pregnant by God's grace. And I still remember sitting there when I got the call that my blood test came back that I was pregnant. And in that instant, I said, I don't care about this law practice. This kid is my everything. And so, long story short, so from that, in '03, when I started my interior design business and the juggling of working with contractors and realizing that people, they don't always do what they say they're going to do. Wait, you were supposed to be here, today at 2:00 for my client, who, by the way, took off today. And now you call me when I call you saying, where are you? And you're like, oh, well, it was rainy, so we had to do our exterior painting today. Maybe we'll do your interior job tomorrow. So there was a lot of dealing with personality types, the realities of running a business where, you're dealing with different people who may not live up to the expectations you set. So, gosh, how do I say this? So most recently, I had been working with my twin sister for about 1.5 years or so. We were real estate coaches working with women, agents, and brokers to build their business. I loved it. But in that time, I realized I love my sister, my twin sister, but we couldn't work together. We're still great sisters, but better sisters than business partners. So last summer, I spent pretty much the entire summer praying and saying, Lord, what am I supposed to do now? Should I continue with the real estate or should I do something else? And that is when I felt called, after much prayer and reflection and journaling, that this is what I need to do, where I bring Jesus and that whole Christian lifestyle into running a business so that it's not chasing down clients, so that it is not, running everything, throwing it against the wall like spaghetti and seeing what sticks. It is being very, very strategic, bringing my logical mind as a lawyer in with my faith, saying, Lord God, help me to know my next steps. How do I put this together? And it's just been exciting. And as I work with my clients, I can tell you, I see major shifts. God is moving mightily. And I hope I'm not talking too much, but I do want to say this. I talk with my quote unquote competitors. There are many of us Christian business coaches specifically, and we were all called like last fall and last winter. Like that's when a lot of us started our businesses, doing what we're doing, working with Christian women.
Oh, wow.
And we really feel like God is rising up his daughters to do some big work, to impact the world in what we're doing. So it's a very, very exciting time to be doing what I'm doing. And I see my clients doing big things.
That's amazing. And I'm faith-based too, just so the listeners understand where I'm going to come from with questions on this. So I do fully understand that call. I do understand hearing that internal pull, and sometimes to some people it is external as well. So I don't want to minimize that people of faith and God can speak to, the Holy Spirit can speak to people in real life as well. So I don't want to minimize that powerfulness inside of, the faith-based listeners. However, I want to ask you, how does it work with faith-based businesses? How do we see that in this time? And I'm diving a little deep into this because I know that this is a question that's going to come up. And if I can do anything with this interview with you, how can we bridge the gap for those who feel a call, but not necessarily sure or not certain that that's Christ calling them in their business? And what does that mean? And what does it look like?
Wow. I think that is an issue that so many of us grapple with. So many of my clients, even, when you have a bad day, you're like, wait a minute, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? So I think it's kind of the same thing as when we as Christians say, is this in God's will? Where you're like, is this the person I'm supposed to marry? Is this the car I'm supposed to drive? Is this the house I'm supposed to get? Sometimes I think we can doubt ourselves over and over again, and that makes us indecisive, which is never a good thing, right? To be a thriving fempreneur or a great CEO, you need to be a great decision maker, as I know you know. And so it comes to the point where one of my pastors told me, you know what? God's going to use you whether you are doing this or that, whether you are driving a Toyota or a Hyundai, so just be listening to what he tells you to do wherever you are. Right. And so I think it's easy for us as entrepreneurs to look for an excuse to get out if we're not sure, if we weren't sure to begin with. So entrepreneurship, if you've started this, ladies listening, if you started a business and you've done all the steps to get there, you've thought about it, you prayed about it, you got your license, you started to get a website, you're working with people, whether you're paid or not paid, to me, enough decisions have been made that should reassure you that, God would have put up those stumbling blocks for you. You wouldn't have gotten here if this isn't what he wanted for you. That's my best advice.
Mm-hmm. I do feel that internally, and even those that are not sure what faith-based entrepreneurship is, the women listen to this podcast. Again, I want to bridge that gap a little bit. And so, intuitively when you're called to something, some people are much more aware in their faith that God is calling them and the Holy Spirit is calling them in a direction. Some people feel that, but they're not sure what that is yet. So what is your best response to someone that's saying, I feel that I'm pulled in a direction. Is that God in my business?
Okay. So whether or not it's really a God calling or something you're bringing up for yourself, is that the question? I'm sorry. I'm going to make sure I understand.
No, absolutely. That and bridging the gap that God can be in business, that he is present in business.
A couple things. Let's start here. I am so out with my faith. I'm a Christian business coach. I'm not just a business coach. So there are many women that I work with that they say, do I have to be out, so to speak, with my faith? And I say, oh my goodness, that's up to you. To me, there's no right or wrong in that. It's what you feel led to do. That all goes back to who is your ideal client? Who do you want to work with? Because I think one of the major struggles that all entrepreneurs, grapple with is they're saying, okay, I'm trying to do this to market my business. I'm trying to do that. And they haven't yet identified who the heck they really want to work with.
Right.
So I think it starts there. It's who do you really want to work with? And then do you know that person so intimately that you can think of one person? That's who you're doing all of your messaging to, your social, this podcast, for example, your ads, whatever you're doing. That's where it really comes down to. There's no right or wrong as to whether you're preaching Christ, so to speak, in your business. But I just want to say one more thing in that regard. Who is wiser than the Lord? If you're a Christian, who is wiser than the Lord? Nobody. So we're missing a big benefit, and that's a wrong word, but we're going to lack if we don't go to him and say, Lord, what is my next step? Give me guidance. What should I be doing? How should I be doing? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Faith. It's faith
Amen.
to
Not
step,
fear.
not fear, faith. And I know that even those who aren't Christian that listen to the podcast will understand that there has to be a level of faith in business anyways. And so in that and bridging that to the Christianity and Christ in business, because I do believe that Christ does guide us. I do believe that we have a level of guidance no matter where you have your Christianity in your business, or if you're not out, like you had mentioned, if it's not forefront in your business, as I had done for years. I've done that for years, but yet I still had to lean into the faith aspect of my Christian faith because I kept using my own will to go the direction that I felt like I should be going in every single time. I say, yes, I was a serial entrepreneur, but every single time I would go on my will alone, God would allow me to do it. But it was never fulfilling what exactly I needed and what exactly I was looking for, even though I couldn't articulate or couldn't quite visualize what I was looking for. I was seeking something. And so when I let go of pushing my will into my business endeavors and continuing to be successful, different measures of success. I don't want anybody to think that, numbers predominantly indicate success, but successful in what I was accomplishing in my business ventures. Once I let go and stepped into faith, then the purpose, the fulfillment, that deep desire to bring about the outcome that I know that I could or I wanted to, then I felt connected to it. But it was faith.
Yeah.
It was truly faith.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that what you mentioned about letting go, it's like, again, stop pushing yourself to do things you really don't want to do.
Right.
Like it astounds me when I first started coaching, it astounded me when I would ask my clients, what do you want in your business? Like, what kind of boundaries do you want to set up in your business? When are you going to be working? When are you not available? That kind of thing. And they're like, oh, I get to decide. Heck yeah, you get to decide. Right? So you've got to be true to yourself. So if you want to take every Tuesday off for the morning to, strategize about your business, and then the afternoon spend time with the kids, great. There's nothing wrong with that. As I said, initially, years ago, I worked with real estate agents, and they would say, well, Judy, I have to be on my phone. I have to be available 24/7. I said, oh my goodness, who told you that? Your
Right.
broker?
Yep.
No.
Exactly.
Trust, let go.
Hey, Fem Nation, I know you are called to lead something great. Are you wondering what the next best step is for you? I have a next best step. I invite you to walk with me through the Become Unstoppable Challenge. Join me on a 21-day journey to discover your inner leader. Find how to build your confident leading foundation to decide and move forward to your highest potential in business and life. After helping dozens of challengers take hold of their leadership, you will come away from this experience with a renewed sense of confidence in order to serve those who need to hear from you. As a valued listener, I'm inviting you to save 25% on the next 21-day challenge by using code FEM2020. That's FEM 2020. Check it out at www.becomeunstoppable.challenge.com. Again, that's www.becomeunstoppable.challenge.com. Coupon code FEM2020. I look forward to seeing you on the inside. So let me ask you this. What do you consider successful in your business?
There is no better feeling than seeing my clients do scary things. They're growing in their confidence, and what I really say, their Godfidence, right?
Yes.
They're growing in trying new scary things. And as a result, they're getting amazing results. They've been afraid to go and do lives, for example, on social. Now they're like having fun with it. There are things that I was like, let's try that. Oh, I can't do that. Well, why not? I don't know. I've never done it before. Okay. Well, do you want this business? Okay, great. Let's try it. Now, that's not to say you have to do things like we just talked about that you really don't feel good about. And again, I'll go back to real estate. So you must door knock to be a successful real estate agent. Wrong, wrong, wrong. There's also new gurus out there saying, if you door knock, that's dead. Good luck to you. Well, I say to her respectfully, you're wrong. So you really have to, again, go to God, look at yourself and what feels good for you. And of course, always point to the ideal client. Where are they? Where are they? How do they like to, be approached? That's where you need to go. And you have to do it your way. And there's many ways to do that.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a one size fits all.
Absolutely.
A lot of this entrepreneurial stuff that we have, and it's gotten noisier, especially in the digital space of it, that it's not a one size fits all, and it's not going to be everything to everyone. You have to find out inside of there where you are called to be and what is the best next step for you. And you can take the learning aspects of it and glean from them on possibilities that exist and open your door to what else is out there maybe you didn't know, but then let God guide you from there on what works well for you, as well as be business minded. And I'll put the plug of having a great business coach, right?
Absolutely.
Be
We
business.
have them, I'm sure, right?
Yes, as we all should, but be business minded on what makes sense for your particular business and where you are in it as well. So yes, there is a faith component, and that's part of the inner work that you work on for you, because true to itself, entrepreneurship is the highest form of personal development. It always will be. But
Amen.
do the inner work, have the inner work, but also have the strategy piece of it too. So it does make sense. So you can build a business that can create the lifestyle or the desire or the outcome that you are looking for inside of that purpose. So I'm with you on just because a guru or somebody says it's one way doesn't necessarily mean it is, but doesn't necessarily mean it isn't either.
And you know what I liken it to? Again, going back to the faith aspect of it, we're called to be discerning. It's not
Yes.
judgmental, right? That's not
Yes.
judgmental to the extent that I'm going to condemn you in my mind because you don't think like me. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Mhm.
about being discerning, right? So you hear some influencer say, for example, you must post 3 to 5 times on each social platform. I did a rant the other Thursday on my Thriver Thursday Live, and I said, ladies, business is about connection. Okay, if you post once a week, but you're in your DMs or you're building relationships outside of that, that's going to make you a heck of a lot more successful than pulling your hair out saying, what am I going to post about now?
There's nothing worse than that feeling too, when you're so stuck on a particular template or structure of it because that worked for someone else. If it's not working, it's not working. It's not meant for you.
Right, right.
Maybe later, and that's the beauty that we have as entrepreneurs is we can evolve to maybe later we organically start doing 3 or 5 posts in a week. But we've evolved to that point. Somebody else starting out may decide that that doesn't work for them or it does work for them and evolves it differently going down the road. But yes, absolutely being discerning. That's a very good word to bring into business. And I hadn't put that one in there yet. So that's a nice little gem.
Good
Definitely being
word.
discerning.
That's a good word. And if I could say one more thing, you just said something about starting. I think getting started is the toughest part.
Yes.
And, getting started, what do I do? What is my plan? What should I do? And again, if the ladies get nothing out of this episode, I would feel like we've done some good work today, hon. If we gave the ladies listening confidence to say, make a decision and go all in. And that's what entrepreneurship is. It's being decisive, taking action. And then you let it go for a period, but then you look at it and you monitor it and then you tweak it. That's the entrepreneurial journey, right? Forever.
Yes. Yes. It's a constant learning, right? Let me
Right.
ask you
Absolutely.
let me ask you a quick question here. Maybe it won't be quick. What is the most vulnerable struggle that you overcame in your entrepreneurial journey?
Wow. I thought it was going to be personal. Okay. The toughest thing to overcome in my entrepreneurial journey. You know what? This is going to sound weird, but being okay with myself, like just being me.
Mm,
And I think part of it, this is going to be funny. I think part of it is because I graduated college in the late 80s when everything was like IBM buttoned up, very professional. Like now, casual is the new professional. I say gonna in a post instead of going to, and as
mhm.
a lawyer, that's just not what we do. So when and plus I was a straight A student. And so now, wait a minute. I don't have to dot the I's and cross the T's. Like I can just take imperfect action and that's okay. So even on interviews like this, I was stilted. I don't know if that's the right word, but I wasn't really myself. I was like second guessing almost everything I was saying. Oh my gosh, did I use the right word there? Just that whole thing of having to be perfect.
Right.
So when I finally let go, as you said, that's a great phrase. Let go, be you. I'm a very logical person, but I'm also very creative. And I'm also very goofy. Like I like to have fun. And so I totally just let it all out, realizing that not everybody's going to like me. That's okay. And that's so freeing to be able to do business the way I want to do business and attracting the right people that I want. They're my ideal clients.
Right. So you have, in the vein of letting go and starting a business. So there's almost a piece of letting go to start a business because you have to get out of your own way to get letting go to start the business. So I want to talk about that real quick. You're offering the listeners a really cool tool that we'll have linked in the show notes. But I want you to give the top 3 tips from that are going to be the best, if nothing else, are going to be the best top 3 for them to think of as they're starting their business or evolving their business.
Well, actually, the freebie is 50 tools and resources. So it's down and dirty. Like these are the softwares and the resources or the tools to make what you do easier, right? And
Mhm.
so one of them is Canva. You can, and I'm sure you probably use that too. Canva is something that makes you look like a graphic designer, even if you're not. And believe me, I am not techie. I'm a tech avoider. I don't know if that's true, but I don't like tech, but I love Canva. So that's huge. If you do lives on social, which I highly encourage you do, ladies, because people need to know you. To repurpose when we're talking about social media content. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Okay, you go live for 20 minutes. Great. You are bound to have nuggets of amazingness inside that live. So there is a free transcription service that's inside these resources that you can just upload your audio, and out comes your transcript that then you can read and create into like quotes, great quotes, that you can repurpose in 1,000 different ways. So that's an amazing one that you're going to love. And let's see what else. Oh, the right email. There is, I'm going to say what it is, Flowdesk. I have to tell you, Flowdesk is amazing. And the price is crazy. They have such beautiful templates. I've never seen anything like it. So ladies, I don't know what email provider you have, but Flowdesk is amazing. Those are my top 3.
Awesome. Those are good. I actually have not looked into Flowdesk, have used Canva and Lives. I had to get used to them. It took me a little bit of time, but now it's next to nothing. I mean, it doesn't, you know how it goes. Once you start doing it, it's really not the big scary monster in the closet that we think it is.
That's right.
And it's so much content. I mean, at this point, when you just start going forward with it, do it, figure it out, and do it for the fact that it's a learning process for you as much as it is for anything else. But in doing that, you're going to have content you can go back to. And then also your people that are coming to you for your business, they're going to have content to go check out as well. It's something you did a year ago. They're going to scroll and see it. It happens and it's beneficial. And then you'll get a notification and be like, oh, what did I write a year ago? And be like, whoa, hey, that was cool. You know what I mean? So it just reminds you of what you're doing in this business and how your growth has come. So thank you for those tips. And as I mentioned, we'll have that linked in the show notes for everyone to be able to download, because that's going to be extremely beneficial. Thank you for that. I want to ask one last question of you. Where do you go from here? What does your business look like? And which direction do you feel you are called to?
Well, that's a great question. Well, let's see. This within the next 6 months, I'm going to be retiring my husband, and we're going to be moving to a beach area. My happy place is anywhere there's a beach. So at this point, I'm looking at Florida or Charleston, what is that called? Gulf Coast or Charleston, South Carolina. But as far as my business, we're going to be continuing to scale. And I would say within a year and a half, it will be sustainable almost without me, if that makes sense.
Nice.
So I'm growing my team, being very intentional about that. And the most important thing for me, more than making $1 gajillion truly, is changing lives. Because when a woman gets that freedom, financial and time freedom, she's impacting all of her family. So that is what really excites me about the future.
Huge, huge. Absolutely. We can change the world that way.
Amen.
How can the audience connect with you? Where can they find you?
Oh, great. Yes, I am all over social at Judy Weber Live. And my website is Judy, that's JUDY -Weber, WEBER.com. I've got some freebies on there, so feel free to go there and check those out as well.
Awesome. Judy, I want to thank you for coming on the show today and really sharing your faith and how inspiring that is. And those that are, not walking that road 100%, but know that that's where they're going, giving them the encouragement and the opportunity to see what it looks like as a shining example. So thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you. This has been so much fun.
Awesome.
I really appreciate the opportunity.
You bet. Thank you for taking the time. You guys, Fem Nation, be sure to check out the show notes. We've got some great tools in there for you from Judy. And as always, keep moving forward. Thanks for listening to the Fem Nation podcast. If you'd like to continue the conversation, have a no BS place to ask your business questions, and connect with like-minded women entrepreneurs, join the Fem community, our free group on Facebook. And don't forget to check out the next 21-day challenge at www.becomeunstoppablechallenge.com. Let's crack the door to what's possible when you begin leading yourself first. If you love this show, subscribe and share it with a friend. If this episode impacted you, it would mean the world to me if you left a review so others know what's possible by listening. I'm already looking forward to the next episode with you.